Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford, and it's a season preview. The big kick-off is ahead. JP, join me this episode. The two Ronnies are back, JP. Big kick-offs arriving on Sunday, JP. We all keep saying Saturday because,
I know.
well, let's be fair, the champion should be the first game of the season, but we're not. We're actually one of the last, which is another thing we can talk about again. But welcome, mate. The episode, obviously, Aberdeen this Sunday. Hard work is done pre-season wise. Obviously, behind closed doors, I think there's still a lot of movement ins and outs of the squad. We're just about there, I would say, mate. Maybe the odd one or two can win, mate. But big kick-off on Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to get back to Celtic Park.
Yes, mate, good evening. It's been long awaiting, innit? I feel as if it's been absolute best part of about 8 months. The way it's kind of dragging on. It's horrible. Especially, see, like say, when you've got the summer Ryan and there's no Euros or there's no... The World Cup's obviously going to be a bit later, so you're having to... Normally that's over the summer and it kind of eats into your time waiting on the domestic season kicking back off, but we've not that privilege. I suppose a good thing I know is, Ryan, we're in sort of uncharted waters this time round because we don't have any Champions League qualifiers, so they're all happening now as we're speaking. Like European qualifiers, I mean. So, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to it. Curtain raiser on a flag day at Celtic Park. Many's that now over the last decade or so? 10 out of the last 11 anyways, I remember. Some seem to think there's a pass parcel game going on somewhere, but don't know whether they're getting that far. I saw the day as well. More nonsense about Kyogo will probably score more goals, but Morelos is still the better striker. The headline itself is just a contradiction in terms, in it. It just, I think whoever's come away with that's been steaming drunk, and I've just decided to, I'm just going to put something out to sell a story for clickbait. But nah, some of these guys are stealing a wage because they're getting paid for absolutely hee-haw. They really are. I mean, what a load of nonsense. Just, I don't know. I was laughing at. I mean, I suppose that's all you can do now because just, like I said the other night, half the shite is just unreal. Never half hard to believe. So, but no, we're on the more important side. Championship flag getting unveiled, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, we're on Sky TV, so that's probably one of the biggest seasons, just to live with a 4:30 kick-off on a Sunday. I feel sorry for all our Irish followers as well that maybe can't get over for the game because they're all working on a Monday and not everybody can get time off, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of kicks them in the stones a wee bit there. Like, they can't get to the game, so it's a shame that way, but I'll certainly be there. Looking forward to it, as I say. Aye, and let's hope we can. I know Aberdeen have signed about 400 players in the transfer window so far, but let's hope we can start the season really well. I think there's a fair few games, isn't there, before the Champions League draw is even made, so we've got a wee bit of football to play. I think the games are pretty quick as well. I think they're coming thick and fast. And obviously pre-season's been guided as well for when we do get into the Champions League, because obviously we've been playing Saturday, Wednesday, and then we've had a week's break to receive, well, just 8 days, isn't it? 8 days we played on Saturday, so we've had a week's break, full recovery, put a lot of time in the training field with Ange, the boys, to get some strategies and tactics and everything going. So I'm really looking forward to it, Ryan. I think they'll be firing, put it that way, so they'll be fresh as well, though. And they looked fit on Saturday as well, so aye, I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Saturday was probably the fittest I think we've seen this pre-season, but again, that's probably common knowledge because every game you're going to get fitter. But
yeah,
again, a lot of fans don't like to really comment on pre-season. I'm the opposite. Maybe the first game, give or take the second game, you can give or take a bit of rustiness and a wee bit of fitness, but as it carries on, I wasn't worried. It was me a wee bit of concern. Just we were conceding so many silly goals. But I know it's only pre-season. You're no worried as in Aberdeen, are they going to score 10 against it? It's just you're thinking, right, we need to just tweak things here. But
I really hope no.
But again, we
We're
all
in for a
know.
long day on Sunday, I'm telling you.
Plus, we all know that wasn't the team. The back line was chopping and changing. Probably once the window's shut, you'll see the team settled, and you'll see hopefully, nobody goes, and you'll see a settled back line. But I just think it's good to get a bit of competitive action now. Me personally, I don't agree with friendlies in a sense of the word friendly. To me, football is football. It doesn't matter if it's a friendly match or a league game. You play to win. Maybe the first game of pre-season, it's just to get into the swing of things again, get your legs moving and your heart pumping. But me personally, even if I played football, JP, friendlies to me doesn't matter. In the sense of that, it's not friendly. The title's just a game. You just want to win. And I think that's the way, especially against Norwich and Blackburn, the way I just coming across. Obviously, he's talking about the fitness, but you obviously want a performance. But for me, the Norwich game was a wee bit of a step. But I do think Blackburn are a good team, but I think Norwich was a wee bit of a step up considering they've kept roughly, give or take, their Premier League team. Obviously, guys like Pookie, who didn't really do well at us, but gave me his due. He's a goal scorer in the division. So, and obviously guys like Cantwell, Ken McLean. I know he's one of them, but he's played for Scotland at the highest level. So you've got to obviously respect that. But
boy at fullback looked a good boy. He was at Aaron's.
He was close to Barcelona as well. So
there you go.
It was a very good team we played against. Maybe no the Norwich that will play this weekend against Cardiff. It'll probably Cardiff to play. They'll be up for it. So. But I go into the Aberdeen game, mate. I think we can. In fact, before we start the Aberdeen game, what you say about the media side, it was actually Stephen Craigan, I think, that wrote the article.
Was it?
I read it, mate. I'm sure it was Craigan.
Doesn't surprise me now.
If it wasn't Craigan, I apologise, Stephen, but I'm sure it was Stephen Craigan that wrote the article. Listen,
not apologising because he talks one.
No, I'm just.
Nonsense as well.
I just don't want to put somebody else's name, mate, that it's not him.
All right, aye. That's it,
But listen, I know what he's trying to say, right? But see, listen, I might be a Celtic fan. It's a Celtic podcast, but I'm not a football fan, right?
Speak the truth.
Fans don't want to talk about other sides of the city, etc. Right? Listen, Morelos, I don't think all round he's not the best of players, but he'll score Rangers goals, and I get that point, right? But how any football fan, right? I don't care what side of the city for where you're in Glasgow, how can you say that Kyogo and Giakoumakis are not the two best forwards in Scotland, especially on last season's evidence? Morelos has only been the top goal scorer once since he's been here, I think, in the league. And that was the season where, but I didn't know who was actually who his manager. I can't remember. That just tells you how I don't look at their stats. So I think he's been here once, top goal scorer. Last year, Kyogo and Giakoumakis played about half the season and he scored more goals than him, I think, all in. You might have done well in Europe, but I don't care about Europe. Obviously, I care about Europe, but in terms of what I'm talking about, it's the league forming on the article. Kyogo is a superstar. I think he's still to get gone in pre-season, but we all know, like we've said, when it comes to the cream, your talent pops up. Giakoumakis, for me, I'm glad he's actually getting a lot of plaudits for pundits I've seen recently, and they're actually recognising that he's a good player, not just because he missed a penalty. I still stand by that if Giakoumakis and Kyogo, obviously it's maybe a bit silly saying after fully fit because that's hindsight, but I think because of the way they two are going to be playing JP over the season, I think they're guaranteed at least 18 goals each, at least. Probably, I did say the other day, if they played the way I think they're going to play rotationally, as in domestic and Champions League, if they're swapping and changing, I think they'll score at least 20 goals each.
That's just the first off on Sunday.
Aye. That's only if they don't get injured. That's barring injuries, because I think if Giakoumakis played every game, I think it was 42 goals. All these people who do the stats supposedly would have got 42 goals last year if he was fully fit. And that's phenomenal. But I don't know what you think of the two of them, mate, but obviously I know what you think about them. But going on to the next season, the new season, mate, I just think it's Rangers can sign Kolak, they can sign Lawrence, they can sign whoever they want. We're not going to get any near the quality that we've got up front than they two. And the work rate of they two of them. Even Giakoumakis is when I say he's a lump, he's just solid. He's a big
workhorse.
But he works half the ball really well. And I noticed it near the end of the season when he was getting fitter. He was running back. He was chasing the ball. Kyogo he's a machine. He's like it's like Maida as well. They're just absolute workhorses, and it gives you a bit of a leeway that if you're not really playing well, JP, the fact you've got him still working hard, they'll get you a goal because they'll chase lost causes. And you know yourself, I've seen it a few times that people don't really like to talk about him, but Lee Griffiths done it in the past. He used to chase lost causes, and it got you a goal. Kyogo does it all the time. Maida does it all the time, and silly wee things like that. Like we say, when you don't stop, that's how you get goals. With they runs, closing defenders, and they think they're going to sit off and let them pass it. But if you're shutting guys down constantly, it's going to tire people out, and that's how I think eventually as well. That's where we'll get our last minute goals. If you're struggling, maybe nothing each, or you're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go, because of the way we play, you literally don't fucking stop.
Yeah. No, definitely, mate. And I think to touch on as well, Giakoumakis obviously came in the last year late in the window as well. So he's had a pre-season, all right, he's had a couple of days off because his missus gave birth to is it a wee girl or a wee boy? I think it was a wee, a wee boy, wasn't it?
I just knew a win, mate. I didn't know what
I've seen the photo, but I wasn't sure. I actually didn't pay attention, sillily. Not to make this comment, but obviously his wife gave birth to their new baby, and so he's had a wee bit of time off. But when he came back in against Norwich, he looked quite physical already and quite sharp again. Still lucky with that one. He tried to curl, he just tried to hit it. He just never got enough purchase on it to try and place it away for Angus Gunn. He just managed to get to it. But no, as I say, the whole team, Ryan, are a year down the line now in an Ange team under Ange's tactics, learning the way Ange wants to play. And I know people keep saying, forget about the rebuild. You can't forget about the rebuild because part of that rebuild is still gelling together. And also, we're getting into phase 2 of that. That rebuild's in phases. It's not just the team Ange wants, isn't he? The team Ange wants yet. That's scary to think because we rate these guys very highly. We can see their quality and we can see, and that's how we get disappointed and frustrated when we underperform on the day sometimes, and like you've seen it against like Bodo away from home. When we just weren't at it. There was games during the season where we weren't at it. But then you forget as well what they actually gave us last season. Just a daft result. That's what Celtic fans do. They forget about what's happened. I know you're one for not going what's happened a couple of weeks ago, going on what's happened on the day. They're not always going to be able to play top in a game. It's just not physically happen. It's just not ready. It's not going to happen. No team is brilliant every game they play, but they're close to it mostly all the time, right? And that comes with dedication and what the manager wants, bringing his plans to fruition, and the listening that they've had to learn under that education. Because let's face it, none of them have ever played that way before. None of them have ever played in that style before. And then when you see it, it's all right talking about the game, right? See when you actually see it in the games and what he's implemented, it's fucking frightening, man. It's absolutely scary. But I'd never saw properly the inverted fullbacks before until and at the beginning I was going, what the fuck's happening here? Why is Ralston in here and why is Greg Taylor coming in here? And at 1 minute Greg Taylor was at right back and Ralston was at left, and I'm going like that, what's going on here? But listening to guys like Andy Halliday and other boys that have played against it, and Charlie Mulgrew and other, it's so fast, it's tempo, you're at the end of the game you're all knackered because your tongue's fucking hanging out. I think the boy Fuchs when we played Dundee United up there in December, and we totally destroyed them. He came out and complimented it. We've now had Dean Smith doing the same, a boy for the Norwich manager. Kenny McLean, I saw a wee article about him a day about it. He says that's the best Celtic team he remembers, even in his time in Scotland. So I think Callum Davidson was highly complimentary, even although we get beat that night 4-0 against Bayer Leverkusen. I think it was the still we tried to play. We made mistakes, but we still took the ball. We were trying things. We were trying. I mean, their goalie was man of the match that night.
Well, he was
And we
fucking
get beat
brilliant.
4-0, which was fucking baffling to me because that was, see, being at that game, Ryan, that was never a 4-0 game. How it finished 4-0 was beyond me. But how we never had a few goals? And there was games like that, like the Betis game away from home. But I think, see if you listen to some of the players as well, that cemented home that we had a team that could believe in themselves. Like when you listen to Jota, I think Jota mentioned it in one of his interviews when he just signed permanently there. And he was asked about when did you really think you could be a half-decent side? And he says, I think a lot of the belief came for the performance in Betis. And although we lost that night, Ryan, for winning, we still played some really nice football. That was probably when you started to see the fruition of Andy's team.
But the first half display was very, very good.
Well, we were 2-0 up. And then through the season, we learned how to then game management, the play, on top of just being attacking. Because see, when you're attacking all the time, right, you're going to leave chances, you're going to give your other team opportunities. Because eventually you will start drafting off, especially if your fitness level starts to deteriorate in the game. And then we didn't have a big enough squad to change it. Now we've got 2-3 players for one position now. So it's, you can bring your on a bit chaff and put Ralston on. And for me, there's no drop in tempo, there's no drop in what you're trying to do. You can bring out Greg Taylor and bring in Bernaby, and it's still the same energy level. Bernaby's just a slightly wee bit more pacier, I would say, than Greg Taylor. And maybe a bit better with the ball. But Greg Taylor's done remarkably well over the last year under Ange. And Ange obviously believes in him, right? Hence the reason why he got that new deal. That wasn't the deal of, oh, we're running low numbers, so we're just going to give you a contract. I mean, he only gave Ralston a year until Ralston proved himself. Now he's gave Ralston an extended contract, which is obviously going to help Ralston because I think him and his missus have just started a young family too. But the team itself, getting back to Kyogo and Giakoumakis, not just they two, you've got to look at the service they two get as well. There's opportunities there, right? If you're a half-decent striker, mate, you're going to score. And I think, like, but Kyogo has, out of the two of them, right, Kyogo is the one that has raw quality in order to create openings for himself, just with his movement. His movement is fucking frightening. I've never seen anything like it since Henrik. The way he spins in off people and he just loses you. You think you've got him and then he's away. As I said to you, I've said it a few pods now, mate. The game could be sitting nothing each. And just like, even against teams like Anderlecht and Lyon in Europe, when Larsson used to spin in behind and get that header, and before you knew it was 1-0, 2-0. So that's what Kyogo brings. He brings a modern day type of player to the team. And his all-round game is quality. And yet people were fucking judging him when he came on at Tynecastle. I think his first challenge, he got knocked off the ball and he gave away the ball or something like that. Larsson gave the ball to Jack Charlie for the guy to score. Second game after that, mate, he scored an OG against FC Tirol for Austria. So you can't just judge a guy on 10, 15, like proper, like 10, 15 minutes. You've got to, once a run of games kicks in, you then seen how good Larsson was after that. Janssen knew what he was buying, mate, when he paid 650,000 for him, mate. That wasn't just, you know, again, the pals that going in, and Janssen knew what he was buying. And we get 7 years out of that guy, mate. 7 years. Not very often you get that, especially with foreign players, mate. They come here and they get a retail, they do well, and then they go elsewhere. So that was decent to get that run that we had. And now he's idolised with the whole club, fans, and there'll always be a place for Larsson to come to games and turn up whenever he wants. I'd imagine he would have the freedom of the place, do you know what I mean? But Kyogo has, in terms of footballing, Kyogo's got that quality. What Giakoumakis brings, right, is maybe what Kyogo doesn't have, is not only is he a good finisher and a good leader of the game, but he's also physical, right? Kyogo might not have that fight. He's a wee guy, he gets in about it, don't get me wrong, but he's not strong enough to shove, I don't know, a guy like, just say for talking sake, he was still playing with Hibs. Remember Big Rob Jones?
Aye.
Kyogo's not shoving him out the road, mate. Giakoumakis is bouncing him into next week. What he done to Big Shirley? Now, they thought he was the most physical guy since fucking, I don't know, Captain America.
Since sliced red, Warburton.
Aye, they think he's the biggest physical since Big Bobo Baldy. And when he played against Giakoumakis, he got bounced into the middle of next week. He didn't know if it was New Year or New Trousers. Same with Big Connor Goldson. They two didn't know what to do with him, mate, because of how physical he was. That's how we were getting good joy with him there. And I think one of the boys, I say, or some, was it Jason the other night, it says you could see the look in their face, they absolutely shit themselves.
It was the game at Celtic Park when we drew. I'm sure it was the game we drew 1 each of them.
Giakoumakis didn't play, mate. I don't think he was there.
Sorry, 3-0, sorry. And I'm sure he came on. No, it was.
He started that game, didn't he?
No, it was the 1 each game. I'm sure he came on the bench that game, you know.
He did at the end. He made 3 subs. Remember, he made Beaton, Abada, and Giakoumakis up to 3 subs.
When he came on the park, Golson only get booked in the 92nd minute, and that was because something happened up with Papeng because they were trying to get a goal. But Giakoumakis was only on for about 20 minutes, and he
was fouled about 40 times.
He was getting kicked, he was getting elbowed, he was getting his strip pulled, he was just all over the place, and I was like, how is he not getting fucking booked? How's he not getting booked?
Aye.
But again, that's a different talk about a podcast or day about that. But in terms of what you say with Giakoumakis,
you could do a part 1 and a part 2 that podcast, not me.
But in terms of, I agree with you on Giakoumakis, mate. I think the guy's quality. I think we've got 2 very, very good forwards who could easily, if they do very well here again. I know I don't want to keep selling my players, but that's just the way we are. You know, if they play well this year, they're going to be looked at because you're playing in a global scale. So, but on to obviously Aberdeen, JP. Like you say, they've signed a lot of. Well, I don't know how good their signs are going to be, but in terms of maybe value, I think they've spent over £1 million.
The 2 big boys at the back, I know Scales's done really well with him. He's got a big miss for him on Sunday, right enough. And they've signed is it Stewart? Another big boy, Stewart. He's actually our captain, big defender.
Just made them a captain, aye.
Is it Anthony Stewart, is it?
That's right, mate. Aye.
I've heard he's a belter. I've heard he's been good. But they've also signed I think they've signed about 15 strikers, but haven't they? They've signed, well, it seems that I mean, every other player that signs a forward. They've signed a boy, Carl Roberts, just the other day there. I think he's a midfielder.
Notts County, wasn't it?
In Notts County, was it? Right, there you go. They signed it, was it Ramadani or something he's called? One of the boys they brought in. I only know a couple of signings because, as I say, I'm not an Aberdeen fan, but you see them on social media, but it just seemed like every day there for about 40 days they were signing somebody. Every time you went on to Twitter, there was a breaking news: Aberdeen signed 15 guys and their 2 brothers. Do you know what I mean? And that's just the way it came across. But no, as I say, they have. Listen, let's face it, they had to. Last year was a fucking shambles for them. A club like Aberdeen shouldn't be finishing 9th, 10th in the league, mate. It just shouldn't be happening. And it just shows you they took a massive gamble on Stephen Glass and it just didn't pay off. There was a lot of the Dons fans were up in arms about Stephen Glass, even when they took, remember, I think it was the last 7-8 games of the season before. I think he drew 1 game and they lost the rest. And then obviously last season was just a shambles. They've now lost Lewis Ferguson. He's away to Bologna. So they kind of have to put it this way. Jim Goodwin's not going to be judged on Sunday, right? I don't. To be fair, mate, I don't care what kind of team they field. I don't think Aberdeen are in the same league as us. I know they've signed players and whatever, But even if we hadn't made a signing, which we have, I still think the team for last season would do Aberdeen on Sunday when we're bang on it. So I don't think the game on Sunday is not going to define Aberdeen's season. However, they do have to start well because they've now backed him in terms of where they want to go as a club. And they need to, obviously, I think the rematch go to be in the top six again this coming season. But more on us, as I say, it's a cup raiser, mate. So you want to get after a flyer, you want to make sure if they score 4, you want to score 6 or 5 or whatever the old saying is, do you know what I mean? And as I say, but you obviously don't want to concede 4 goals in the opening day of the season. So hopefully we can keep a clean sheet and put on a good performance, because no doubt it's going to be a full house because we're back. It's the season back underway, and then as I say, the games come thick and fast. I think after that we've got 2 away games back to back.
Ross County
and Dundee United.
Aye, and then I think we're home to Hearts. I think
we're at home to Hearts, and then Kilmarnock away.
And then the European games be kicking in soon and all, won't they?
They will be kicking in, but I think after that Kilmarnock game, the away game's the Ross County in the cup.
And then it's Rangers, isn't it?
Then it's the aim at Parkhead. So you want to get off to a good start. I mean, there's, I would say, 3 really. I mean, I think the United have recruited really well this summer as well. Obviously, Hearts have recruited well as well. Well, on paper, they've recruited well. Whether that can transfer onto the park. But I do think Dundee United have got themselves a really good manager. He knows what he's doing. He's got good experience of Scottish football as well, which will help. But as I say, he's got to get it right and on. So it's one of them ones. But you're playing potential top 6 teams, you would say, and you've got three of them in the first 6 games of the season. So you really need to be at it, in my opinion, right? And there's no room for slacking. Getting away, I personally think by a year down the line as well, this is my thoughts, mate. I might be wrong, could be wrong. I don't think you'll see us getting away cheap points like we did last season so easily. And like I've said it before, see that Celtic team, man. See if they're not at it, it's still going to take a team to have their full team playing out an 8, 9 and 10, because if there's 3 or 4 of a team up against us, the way we press, the tempo and everything, just not at it, they're going to get severely punished. And I think one team this season is going to take an absolute belting off us. I think you could be looking at your first double figures result under
I've said that.
A long time.
I've said, mate, a team is due to take a 7, an 8, a 9. One team, I know people will say that's ridiculous to comment that, but see if you see the way Celtic, especially at home, I wouldn't say away from home, but I would say at home, you've got 60,000 fans, 55, 60, obviously depending on the season, etc. But you've got a full crowd, especially early doors of the season, when maybe if we start the game well, that's when you start getting yourself right. This could be 3, 4, 5. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, you just want to win the game. I'll take a 1-0 win every single game as long as I get 3 points. But Aberdeen, like you've said, mate, they've done well as in backing Jim Goodwin. Obviously he's a manager, he's a main man that they want to take forward for the club. So he's come in and he's basically, I think it was Andy Considine and other guys, he just went, for me, cheerio.
Aye.
If you want me money, whatever, then cheerio, you're not going to be at a club where the ball doesn't fit for you. Obviously, he's been back, so I think Aberdeen, maybe budget-wise, or maybe decent budget-wise compared to some other teams, like Motherwell, St Mirren, St Johnstone. I think Aberdeen got a bit more budget than them. They've probably got a budget of the 4th, 3rd in the league anyway. Like you say, I think if he's doesn't do well, obviously Celtic, right, on paper, we should be winning the game. So Aberdeen are just coming, try to play. If they lose, they lose. As long as you don't get a pumping, they'll probably be happy. As long as you don't get annihilated. But do you know what? We've gave it a go. We've got bigger fish to fry in the next few games. So I think if they don't start the season very well after us, I think he will under pressure. Similar to Callum Davis and St Johnstone, I think he'll under pressure if he don't get a good start of the season. But I on us, mate, like you says, the flag unveiling, full crowd will be a part of the atmosphere. and then there'll be a party, obviously, singing in the stadium. But I think when it comes to the football, I think the party before the game, but then it's the serious stuff, and that's for me when I forget about last year and we focus on obviously this year. I just don't think, in terms of, like you say, I agree with you in terms of, even if we're not playing well, just the work ethic of the team will still be good enough to stop a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Even like Ross County away from home last year, we didn't play that bad, but we just couldn't get the ball in the net. And then last minute, Anthony Alston, you work it, you don't stop. But that's just any level of football. It doesn't matter if it's junior or professional or fucking League One, whatever. If you keep continuing to probe and probe and probe, something's going to give. Something eventually gives it. But maybe the odd game you might not get a win, and you've tried everything. But me as a fan, see if you beat 2-1 or you're drawn off on each, but you've tried and just couldn't defend, just couldn't get a goal because they've defended very, very well. You can take that, because I don't mind getting beat or drawn when the team's done well against you, and it's very hard to stop. But it's when, like you say, the game against Bodo, when stuff like that happens, that's when you get a bit like, what the fuck here? I know you can't play well every game, but it's a big difference.
Well, that's, I mean, the thing is, Ryan, you can see when players are, as you say, they're getting their fucking all, they're trying to get that goal. And then you can see players that have gave up the ghost when you've maybe lost the first leg and you're getting out there going, that's a fucking damn squib. No, don't get me that mindset. But it's dead easy when they cross that line. Hands can only do so much, but when they cross that line, the guys need to go out and do it themselves. And you can see guys like McGregor and that getting frustrated. But again, mate, I'm wanting to let them away with that one. If this season they come into the Champions League and they throw performances that you go, fucking hell, I wasn't even expecting that.
I do think that it's, see, if we obviously, listen.
You think we're going to get lettered, don't you?
No, I'm happy. See, if we finish third, right, and we still in Europe, I'm happy. Obviously, listen, you want to qualify for every competition. I want to win the group. I want to finish second. I want to get into the last 16. But can I see it happening unless we have an absolute fantastic group and the teams you play against just don't play well? Probably no. But listen, as I said before, you can always dream. There's nothing saying we can't do it. It's just obviously on paper, it's going to be fucking really, really hard.
Well, put it this way, they go to a European final and they're not even the best team in this league, so
that's what I mean. It's just, give or take, mate, it's going to be hard no matter who we get to draw. Fans might say, what do I define success for the Champions League this season? For me, finishing third and getting into the Europa League further ahead would probably be a success to a degree, because you've not been annihilated. You've competed more than you have maybe in other group stages, but you've competed and you've tried. But see, obviously I want to finish second. Success and winning the groups, finishing second and winning it, that's success. But for us to qualify out the group out of some capacity, you want to get to the last 16 Champions League, that would be a dream.
I need a fucking belt to that group, I know, because we're in top 4, so it's...
So, if we get... Listen, this is probably the only time I would say where I'd probably say we've got the best chance, even with our Neil's team, but we actually take away our Neil's team, because that was a different fucking era, different kettle of fish of players, and the players they were playing against, your Del Pieros and fucking...
No, I know, Ryan, but we had guys like Larson and something, so there was many an equal sort of fucking...
Playing field,
Aye, and way back then, it wasn't the astronomical amounts of money is what it is now. The difference between a lot of the teams.
Celtic were spending money then as
well. That's it, and that's what I'm saying. You had guys like Chris Sutton who were established pros, mate, and they knew what they were doing. Guys like John Hartson, Neil Lennon, Paul Lambert, he'd won the fucking Champions League with Dortmund. Guys like Big Bobo Baldi, Jos Haring, who done well with Belgium and one of the World Cups as well. I think they go to the semi-finals or something like that. So you guys like Big Johan Mjällby, again, part of the Sweden team. Didier Agat, one of the fastest guys in 2 legs. Try to think. Alan Thompson, as I said, I still think to this day, best left peg I've ever saw in a Celtic jersey, mate. So you had guys who were established pros, experienced pros, and they were up against guys who were quality in their own league, but Henrik Larsson, mate, come on, man, he's fucking one of the best in Europe, if not the best at that sort of time. So we just had the luxury of having him here. But then you could look at it and say, I know, maybe the Scottish League was a wee bit more competitive as well. So these guys were being tested.
I would say so, mate. I think it was, obviously Rangers were spending money.
Because that comes down to, I know, when you got against these bigger teams and you think you're a good team, you think you had a lot of quality in the Scottish League. Boys like Don Goodman and John Spencer, and so there was a lot of guys, again, experienced pros, played at decent levels, testing you every week. We look at the Hibs, I mean, even the Hibs team, you had young Bruni, and they were a good side. I mean, back then, and you know, they were fast, they were furious, you were being tested most weeks. So to then go against, as you say, your Del Pieros and your Pavel Nedveds and your David Trezeguets, and then you look at the Porto team we played in the final. A lot of good players in there. Deco, who moved on to Chelsea. Carvalho moved on to Chelsea. Vitor Baia was a Barcelona goalie, I know, right? You had guys like playing against guys like Ronaldinho. For me, he's the greatest I've ever seen, right? With a ball at his feet, mate. I've never seen him do what he could do during a game. You talk about Ronaldo and Messi, none of them could lace his boots when it comes to that ability. None of them. Okay, they've done well in the last 20 years with all the goals that they've scored, and remarkable achievement. The two of them have been world class. They've been the standouts for that long. But in his day, Ryan, in my opinion, mate, he's the greatest footballer I've ever saw. So that Celtic team were playing against guys like that. It's just a shame you had Big Rob Douglas at the back, but you fucking to ruin it all.
I keep saying this every podcast he gets a mention, man. Rob, I like you, mate, but I don't think JP's got a good
I didn't dislike him. I just thought he was a brilliant Monday cleaner. No, I didn't dislike him at all. He had a good first season. After that, when he started palming balls across the box in European finals, that's when it's amazing how fast you get people on it. But then you had Magnus Edman. Oh, dearie me. Dear Magnus.
It just shows you that as well. It just shows you how every sign is a gamble, right? He came with a big reputation at Celtic, playing with Sweden, and it just didn't work. And then that Bayern Munich game, he fucking sold it. It's just...
The current Rangers number 2, man, right now, Roy Mackay. I think that night, before the game, Magnus Edman had tanked a fucking bottle of White Mackay before he came out. I mean, Roy Mackay.
But I agree with you, mate, in terms of what you're saying about a bit of level playing field in a way. Obviously, the quality was still a bit better than us, but the league was definitely more competitive. And in terms of the money teams are spending towards us, people think we're paying £12 million for Jordan Vickers is a lot of money. The teams we're playing are probably signing £30 million in one player. It was the same when we played Lille. I think they signed Jonathan David for £30 million for Getafe.
I think you mentioned it a couple of pods ago. Wan-Bissaka cost Man U £50 million.
£50 million.
Jesus, Johnny, man.
And we signed Juranovic for under £3 million. But in terms
was
of...
it 85 million for Harry Maguire?
80 million, mate, aye.
You better be Jerry Maguire, man.
You better be fucking... Maguire's it's fucking shameless playing centre back, man.
I know. Big Paddy Maguire.
You mean Maguire centre back?
He done people right in the stones, wouldn't you?
But in terms of the Champions League, I think now we are up against it. It doesn't every year we're up against it, but obviously under Rodgers, I thought we've done okay. We did okay, especially the home ties. We went up to Man City, drew as well. Maybe another group stage, we could have done well in that, as in we could go the draws to wins, because we did do well against Man City then, and that wasn't because they qualified, that was because we done really well. And to be fair to Rodgers, they 2 games he got his tactics right, but against PSG and fucking all the teams he get his tactics totally wrong. But for me, I'm probably the most confident I've been as a manager since O'Neill. I was only a young guy under O'Neill, so I can't really remember it. I can't really tell you everything, but now I'm getting older, you can actually talk about it more. And under Ange, especially going forward, it doesn't matter who we're playing at home, we're going to cause them a threat. If it is your Madrid's, Munich's, you might only get 2 or 3 chances, but I can maybe say that we'll at least take one. Defensively, again, it's probably my only worry European-wise. I don't think I'm talking at mass. I think every Celtic fan will be panicking when teams get the ball at Celtic Park and away from home. It's just natural because you know that just 5 minutes in the first half, do not concede. Just don't concede early. Fans might think I'm being silly here. We always concede the first 5 minutes, 5 minutes before half time, 5 minutes after.
It used to happen under a Neil Ryan, maybe.
It was always
20 minutes, we used to be a goal or 2 done.
You know, and it just that puts you in the back foot right away.
Aye.
But I don't want to say I'm really confident. I'm confident that it won't be whipping boys. I don't think we'll have that under eyes because I think if we do start getting like that, he'll have it. He'll whip into the team. I think we've got a manager now that nothing gets past him. I don't think anything gets past him in terms of media, in terms of what's happening at the club, and especially in the park. He's a main man. But again, we'll also talk about the Champions League going forward more in detail. But I do believe that we've got a better chance of qualifying under Ange in the way this team is because of the way we're playing going forward, especially. But on Aberdeen, JP, like you say, it'll be a full crowd. Curtain raiser. I'm looking forward back to Parkhead. Seeing all the guys like you talk, I've not seen their mums and catch up with them, and I think it's just good to see the team again, mate. Obviously, I've not been to any pre-season games due to my work, so but live, hopefully again, the line-up, mate, we can probably start the line-up. I've seen Jens is get a knock, so
has that been confirmed, Ryan?
I don't know if that's true. I've not seen Celtic or Ange come out and saying that, so give or take, I'm only going by for what I've seen today, mate. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just sheer nonsense for the fans.
I don't know. I've not seen anything, mate. If somebody's made a rumour up or it was actual article, I don't know. I just seen his name popped up.
Gucci's out and on, eh?
Well, you told me, mate, and then it came out in the papers. I don't know.
I'd heard about it. I'd been told that he took a bit of a baton in training.
And a few years later, they came out, mate. So I don't
apparently
know.
It was at Royal Infirmary, so it must have been a badging. He was supposed to be at Glasgow Royal Infirmary. Whether that's true, I don't know, but I was able to tell you a night or two before it was publicised that he was supposed to have got hurted in training.
He'd have probably ended up at Ross Hall, but I don't know maybe if he did go to Ross.
He'd have probably ended up at Ross County, the way fucking things are going with the team.
But I think obviously in terms of the team, for me, mate, I think if everybody's fit, I do think even if a big man's fit, I think just for what I think, no just on what Ange might be thinking. If I'm thinking I'm the manager, as much as Stephen Welsh has worked his arse off in pre-season, you're no signing Jens, sorry, not to play. If he's fit to be on the bench and he's fit to play a friendly a week or so later, he should be fit to at least give 60 minutes.
See, I know there was a bounce game, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. I know there was a bounce game for him and Moy to be playing to give him a bit more minutes because they've missed out a wee bit in the sort of pre-season in terms of games. And I'm gathering the rumour. I'm going to call it a rumour because, as you said, I've not heard Celtic come out and say. But what we're led to believe through stories is in that game. I heard it was in the game. It wasn't even in, so it was like a bounce game in training. Apparently, in the game, he's took a bit of a knock and he had to walk off. So no, that's not a good sign because he's one of the new boys in the door.
I don't know either, mate. I just seen it on Twitter that he was injured again. I don't know if it's a knock or he's no fit. I don't know, but I think even if he is fit, I think Ange might just go with Welsh just because he's fully fit and he knows he's fit. It might not be.
He's not missed a game.
He's not missed a game. We all know that he's not going to be a standout every week, but let's be fair. I know we've maybe gave Welsh a bit of shit. We've just says that he's trying. He's just not up to the level as it stands now. But with Welsh and Vickers at the back, you should be beating Aberdeen anyway. Fully fit, I think. I've got a sneaky feeling that he might play Ralston. I've got a sneaky feeling. Obviously, ideally, I want to play Juranovic, but I just think Juranovic he's up his ass. I really do. I think Norwich was one who's through goal and his touch was way off, man. Fucking hell, please.
That one, I know, he put it early, put it boy, and it was...
I'm just thinking,
what the hell was that?
I'm just really like, going to just please get this one day shot.
I will be honest with you, out of the two performances, I think Ralston's performed better in the games that he's played
I
in.
would say so, mate, aye. But if I'm not going to go with Angie's team, mate, I'll go with what I think. And then I'll probably go with what I think Ange might pick. So I'll go with two teams. But obviously, your goalie's picked itself. Obviously, Hearts are number one. Me personally, as much as I think Ralston's, like you say, perform well and on what I'm picking, will be probably different from what Ange's going to pick. That's why I'm a fan. But if I was to go on just the quality, take away performances in pre-season, just on what I think quality-wise and what I know of the team, I'd play, obviously, JJ at right back, Vickers, and obviously because he's fully fit. We don't know about Jens. Julian's not been fancied, so I'd probably play Welsh. And left back, I would
Starfelt's in with the team, but he's starting
I don't think he's fully fit yet, no. People who listen might go, oh, Ryan's going to pick Bernabei. No, I'm going to say Taylor, because Bernabei's going to need a bit of time.
Hold on a minute. Somebody take his temperature. Did you just say Taylor?
Yes, I did say Taylor.
Wow.
I think because he's just to keep the continuity of the team, and he did play well last year, it doesn't deserve to be dropped now. As much as I did.
Sweat drip, Matthew, having to say that, man.
2 seconds.
Get that hoodie off, mate. You're getting a bit warm now.
Mate, it's cold tonight, by the way. It's not 20 degrees anymore tonight. No, but I just I think Bernabei, listen, I do believe Bernabei's going to be the left back. I don't think he's been signed not to be the left back, but if Taylor starts and plays well, then he's got a fight in his hands. End of the day, it's still as much as I might not rate Taylor in Champions League level, he's still, again, I know I'm saying that, right? I can't really rate him that because he's not played in it yet, but I just don't believe for what I've seen from him, he's going to take it to the next level. Bernabei, I can't say he will be, but I just, by all accounts, for what I'm just thinking, you're not saying a guy for $3.5 million to sit on the bench. I know ball and goalie happened, and I know that, but you're not been a guy for Argentina to not to get a sniff. So I think Taylor will play left back, and against his jersey to lose. I think the kind of midfield for me, that's probably the hardest part. I think he'll put Kyogo up front. It's who do you play it wide? Does he play Jota on the right and play Maida left, or does he start with Abada? But it seems that he's been starting with Maida. So I'm probably going to say Angel maybe start with Maida, but for me, I would play Jota and Abada. Just because it's just the goals for me with Abada. I know Maida can chip him the goals, but it's just his goal threat. That's really the only thing I would put on my head to start. Your midfield threes, obviously, for me, it's going to be Hatate, McGregor, and O'Reilly. Again, there's a case for Turnbull. But I'll go on it again in case people go, oh, you're too thrown here. But for me, Joe Hart, Juranovic, Welsh, Vickers, Taylor, Hatate, McGregor, O'Reilly, Jota, and Abada, and Kyogo. And the subs kind of pick themselves. But what I think Ange will do, I think he'll play Ralston, Welsh, Vickers and Taylor. I think he'll play the midfield three, what I say, but I think he'll play Maida, and I think he'll play Jota on the right, and I think he'll play Kyogo. So we only 1 or 2 changes. I think he'll change from our team, but again, we're only a fan, maybe we can only give our opinion.
No, that's true, mate. Obviously, you can try and preempt what it's going to happen, but 9 times out of 10, you maybe.
Watch this, just McCarthy's up front.
Aye.
He's playing the target man, Joe.
Giacomakis and Kyogo have got COVID.
Oh, fuck, man, don't say that. That's something that happened to us, isn't it?
Oh, no, I know. That's something. That's your luck. I know. That's exactly what happened. No, personally, what do I think is going to happen? I think maybe Johnny Gould will play in goals. You'll probably get Tom Boyd at right back, Stephen Mahy at left back, Alan Stubbs and Mark Reaper through mid. No, I'm only kidding. You'll probably get Joe Hart in goals. I do think Juranovic will play. I think he'll play Carter Vickers, Welsh and Taylor. I think his midfield three speaks for itself. I think Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor are the best trio we do have in that sort of triangular formation. But then there's a case for Aaron Moy. There's also a case for David Turnbull. Because I don't think Aaron Moy's here to sit on the bench for too long now. Because he's genuinely quality. And I think personally, I know what you say about Abada, but he's nowhere near the work rate of Maeda. No chance. And the legs Maeda brings to that team.
In terms of work rate, no. But in terms of
that alone, I think that's how I think alone. Personally, I think that's what will help. And I think that's what will help Maeda get in the team before Abada. I know Abada scores goals, but so does Maeda. I think also the option Maeda's a forward as well, so he can play through the middle. Excuse me. He can play through the middle. And I think Jota could play. Jota's one of the players, mate. I think he could play in goals and he still look fucking good. You know what I mean? He'd still be that technically good and playing it for the back. And he's just one of the. I think he's just one of the diamonds, mate. He's totally caviar, and I think he would play anywhere. He'd be playing left back and then step overs and can run people for fun. I think that personally will be the team. I think Giacomakis will be on the bench. I think Big Seagrass still on the bench. Possibly Big Jens, possibly Moy. I think who else?
Tumble as well.
Tumble. It's 5 subs and on it. So
no, I'm sure it's 7 now, is it not?
Oh, 5. You need to put. I think it's 7 on the bench, but it's 5 players. So it's 5 subs. So I think that'll be beneficial. That'll be beneficial for us, right, in terms of replacing quality for quality, because you're then able to utilise, like, if O'Reilly's knackered, then you can bring Turnbull in. If Hatati's knackered, you can bring Moy on. No, that's all right, mate. If you, do you know what I mean? If Kyogo's knackered, you can bring on Giacomakis. If he's knackered, you can play Maeda through the middle. There's loads of options now.
I think as well, that's going to. It might interrupt like some of this under 21s, with putting youth guys in. But the fact you get 7 subs in some of your squad is under 21. It's kind of like you says, you can put more quality in the bench instead of putting B team players on just to make up the numbers. They're not going to get a game. They're just there to be stuck because of that rule. But now, maybe with the full 7 subs and you can play 5. I know it's all for 7 subs, but now you can play 5 of them. You can put more on because of the age of your team. I think Abada's 20, give or take.
He's just no on
so
20.
You've got guys like him, and you've got young guys, and you've got young guys as well that can come and play. So for me, it's very good as well that, like you say, that'll benefit as well in terms of chopping and changing the team, knowing the fact that you can put on the same quality of players on the bench.
Aye, definitely. And as I say, it freshens the team up as well. So it gives you that extra legs, and you're able to play at tempo, and so as I say, it's really important. I think the 5 subs will help us, and it'll hinder other teams that are playing us, because with 3 subs, then you've got potentially 2 quality players missing out as well. So an extra 2 subs, mate, you could potentially freshen up the whole mid to front of the team. 9 times out of 10, the defence isn't going to change much unless maybe one of the fullbacks are knackered, like, because he's not going to change. He doesn't like to chop and change the mid 2. But unfortunately, I do think Welsh will start. But however, Welsh won't continue throughout the season. He will then become a sub again, I'm afraid, because our strongest pairing is Giacomakis. You could put him in centre off a noise, big boy. So I do think he would do a job better now, but I do think Carter Vickers and Big Starfelt are probably the best central defensive pairing we will have. That's not to say, I mean, he looks quality on the ball. You could see that against Norwich. He looks comfortable with 2 feet. Big Jens will probably have a say in that as well. I don't think he's here for a season-long loan with an option to buy, so I think he'll be here to play. I know he's not just here to.
See the way he's been talking on Instagram, his family. He's not here just to come and pick up a wage and just.
No, I don't think so. I think he's here to play right now.
Just again, I can only go by his Instagram posts and his social media posts and his interviews. he seems really blessed to be here.
Yeah.
But he's very like, I'm actually at Celtic, and that's the players I want, guys who want to come here and go, I'm at Celtic, not just guys that like previous loan spells we've had with players. Aye, it's all right saying I want to give them all and whatever, but some guys just come here, try and get a few games, and then they fuck off. Like a guy who I thought was really good was John Guidetti. I thought he was decent when his first half of the season. And then Roy Dyer says, "What you doing? Are you staying? Are you gone? If you're no staying, if you know what to sign, then well, cheerio." And he went, "Well, I'm only here on loan now." I think he basically said no. And Dyer
Lennon did it with Timo Weir.
Aye, and Dyer binned him. And at the time, I was like, "You can't bin him. He's only a good striker. We're fucking goating him." And then obviously we all know ins and outs, and he was right today because I'm a big believer of. If you know what, I maybe can back myself here, right, because I really did think that I know Nancham wasn't really playing well at the time, and people were saying that if Nancham wants to go, let him go. But I was like, listen, if you get this guy playing, if you get a tune at this guy, he's a fucking baller. I'm still saying this to this day. I've not really seen that. I know Swansea fans think he's decent, but I've not seen much of him, so I can't comment. But for me, again, it goes to this on his day. I know players don't always have on their day, but for me, Nancham on his day was phenomenal. His passing range, his touch, his control, he controlled games, but he was superb. But it was on his day, and Cadetti on his day was superb. But some guys we've had loan like John O'Kenny, again, he's still playing at a high level at Berlin. It didn't work out, and that's again that's where I've got to look at where we are. We've got Taylor, Bernabei, Ralston, and Janovic, and you had Kenny and fucking Laxalt.
Kenny, Laxalt, and Shane Duffy.
You know what I mean? So I just think it's going forward, mate, especially defensively. I just think we've got a lot of options as well. I do think we need to strengthen quality-wise defensively. Obviously,
I don't think any more will come in, right? I know our fans have all said that they would like to see. I don't think there'll be any more. Again,
listen, we're not.
Unless we shift Julian.
We don't know fucking. I've always said only proper people that know the full details of the club. Journalists know a lot ins and outs. Some fans get information, and it's only information. Nobody's in the know. Ange and the board and the players that only know the actual full scale ins and outs. Journalists get bits and bobs, like we know with Fraser. Fraser knows his stuff. He's very, very independent journalist. He knows his stuff and everything he says, I believe. So to put it to people on Twitter, people that say Fraser's a lot of shite and what he tweets about Celtic, Rangers and other teams, he's not a lot of shite. That's information he gets and it's been spot on. So I'd like to give him a bit of credit, and actually some things journalists get wrong, but everything Fraser says to us and what he said on Twitter, it's been right. What he says to us in an interview, he was right. So there's nothing that I can say.
I just thought his prediction for the league winners wasn't right.
But I just think that, and obviously we've heard that they're looking at options for forward and defensive wise. That's not saying we're going to get them. It's just saying we're actively looking.
No, that's
there's a few people think that we're in the know. We've been told we're actively looking. There's been names, Guy Ferencvaros, there's been Abu Fani, there's been other names kicking about. It's just
going to be some laugh if we sign him, innit? Abu Fani. What a name. Could you picture getting into the shop and saying, what name do you want in the back of your tap, pal?
Abu Fani.
Give me Abu Fani.
This is just every Celtics fan, right? If you've got a good looking bird next to you, all you need to say is, Abu Fani. No, I was talking about the football player. You know what I mean? That's the opportunity to get your home, man.
It makes as if you don't like it. Abu. That's terrible. What a kind of...
So that's a chart line, boys. Abu Fani, there you go.
Picture we don't get a result that weekend if that guy was to sign with us. My. You can actually... He probably drinks iron brew. He comes to a long line of Fannies.
Oh, man.
You can just picture it, you know what I mean?
But I know, as I say, but we're only looking, Celtic are looking, we're only looking, but this is what I think as well, fans don't understand as well when it comes to transfers. Again, Celtic have a list. They'll maybe have 3 or 4 players in every position. If they don't get the 4th, they'll try the 3rd. If they don't get the 1st, they'll try the 2nd, they'll try the 3rd. That's why, if anybody who's not watched the Sunderland documentary, I'd advise you to watch it, because it does show you more than maybe the Man City documentary about the
Sunderland Till I Die.
Aye.
I feel part sorry for that club, mate. See
I think
the
it's
rigmarole they went through.
I think it's still on Netflix. Don't quote me if it's not. But if anybody who's listening, if you've not watched it, if you want to know more about how they deal with transfers, I would definitely say watch it, because it shows you the mess the club is in, but it shows you what clubs actually look at and what goes on behind the scenes. So, but I think we might get one. I maybe been greedy saying that if the squad was the way it was now, I'd be semi-happy. You can't be too greedy. You've got Moy in for the centre defensive mid role. Well, no, that's where he'll play every week. I don't know. But that's, for me, he's signed, like I said, he's no signed for a Pals Act. We all know he's signed because Ange rates him. If it was a Pals Act, he'd have signed him right away when as soon as he was available. But it's been weeks since then, and he's obviously...
I think it's one of the things as well, Ryan. It's to show us that we don't really listen to Ange much either in terms of that, because was it not just about a week and a half ago before it he rubbished the claim?
See, I don't...
He was asked off one of the... I can't remember who it was doing the interview. And he was asked after the guy, is Aaron Moy a target? And his answer was no.
But I don't listen to even Ange. I listen to Ange when it comes to recruitment and like his signings and who like he's obviously talking about the players have signed. But in terms of, I don't listen to managers or players or anything, because do you really think Ange is going to tell you who the fuck you're trying to sign? Honestly, do you think he's going to come and go?
No, of course not.
I went and talked to Aaron Moy and hopefully get his medical in 2 days' time.
But if there's any legitimacy to the normally managers will say they'll give you a hint whether that's along the same lines. They'll know actually say I believe potentially could be another club player or.
But just with Ange, he's nothing away, man. I just think it's a club they knew since Neil Lennon left, whenever it was getting leaked and teams were getting leaked 3 days before and fucking everything else. Now generally nothing gets leaked. Like there was no news about the right back going out on loan. Ozaz. There was nothing, and then it was just Celtic tweeted he's signing. Nobody mentioned that. It wasn't social media. It was on nothing. Celtic are keeping a lot of things tight-lipped, and that's why I don't know if it's the case. But just by the way we're doing our business, I'll be surprised might spring up. A player might sign the last day of the window or a day before the window, or I just think it's the way we as a club now, everything's tightened up. Nobody knew about Harry Kewell until it was rumoured that he was signing, and a day later he signed. There was Abada, Kyogo, they signed a day or two within the rumours. Normally that's the way Celtic works, and a lot McCarthy and Hart signed within 2 days each other.
Yeah.
The same time, but within 2 days or 3 days of the rumours. Aaron Moy rumour, he was linked in the start of the window, but it didn't really gather pace within a day he was signed. So I do believe it. Don't believe everything reading the papers in terms of transfers when it comes to Celtic, because I just think JP are very tight-knitted when it comes to transfers, and everything about the club now is very tight-knit, especially board level. Nobody knows what's happening at board because it's very hush-hush and they're keeping things ticking. It's no coming out about the fans or the board wanting this or Desmond's not turning up to this. Everything's just in-house and we're doing our talk on the park.
There's no more lineups getting leaked days before, or a day or two before a game.
This is where it comes on to the predictions. We're keeping things on. We're going to say Celtic, listen, do I think Celtic are a chance to win a treble? Aye. Do I think a chance to win a double? Aye. I've got a chance to win every cup because we're that good, and what we've seen last year, we were very close to winning a treble last year, and that was under a rebuild. So, like you says, listen, a treble's a fucking listen, but I know we've won four in a row, right? But to win a treble again, it's still very fucking hard. And the other team on the side of the water should know that, because they've not won it, and we were hopeless that season. They did have a fucking chance to win it. So, to the predictions, I'll get yours, mate. For me, I think the league's ours. I think in terms of the media, again, I've seen a few pundits actually try to back us up and backing Jack and Marcus up and the players we've signed. And Peter Grant was on Go Radio and he says at Celtic, he says better squad, better quality. It's basically, he didn't say no brainer, but the way he was talking was you can't say Celtic are the favourites. They've won the league. They've basically a 12-point swing. Gio got 1 point out of 9 under Ange. We drew a semi-final. They won the semi-final, but it went to extra time. It didn't beat them in 90 minutes. So Ange's getting upper hand there, Gio, as it stands still. Celtic are on a 33 game, I think, 34 unbeaten run, domestic terms, I think. scored how many? It was over 100 goals we scored, I think, this season as well.
I think it was, aye.
If you look at all the stats, Rangers, listen, they've signed a few bits of quality. I think the left back they've signed a really good player. For
I've not
value,
even heard of him, Ryan. I've
oh,
not seen him
I've seen
play,
bits
so
of him, mate, playing for the Cheetahs. He's a decent player. I looked at him again, obviously on YouTube, and he did again. But YouTube can make me look amazing. You know what I mean? So, but by the way, I was all right, my day. On, I was pouring. I played down, so you know what I mean. But
what does it mean you were poor, mate?
It's one of the things, in it. It's fucking.
The amateur players. I know. I played football with guys that never managed to make it.
I've always said, still the new. There's still amateur players that can go and play League Two and League One.
Oh, easy.
But I do believe it will win the league, mate. In terms of the pundits wise, how they can come out and say that. Who was it the other day? Like pass the parcel. That for me, I'm like, I've bookmarked all that. I just like, listen, see if Rangers win the league in the season, fair enough, but you can't come out and say pass the parcel and comments that are disrespecting Celtic. You think they will learn for last season? Listen, I can understand for last season, JP, where we want to start the season. Anybody who gave us a bit of a jip or say they would win the league, I can understand that because we were no the best of shapes. But they keep going on about this Christmas thing, or with 4-week Christmas, with 4-week Christmas. Do you know 4-week Christmas because you're not good enough to handle the pace of a full season under pressure? It's you done it when we were going for 10, but let's be fair, the league was finished for fucking October. We were trying to be positive. It will come. They're too good not to come. It will come, right? The buy will sort us, right? We'll be fine.
The telltale signs were early doors, I know.
But when it got to about, maybe I think it got to about 12 points, I was like, man, yeah, right, we'll just need to keep positive and just keep going. It's no, they'll fall away again, but we all knew it was done, right? But last year, when there's a wee bit of pressure on them, we just took care of them. And I don't care what anybody said. You can talk about the European one. I take a tiny bit of effect to you, but listen, you weren't good enough to withstand the pace and the league. Simple as that. Is it a mentality thing? I don't know. I'm more Rangers player. I can't tell you. But in terms of outlook, I don't agree that at all. It's happened twice now to them, so that's no a good sign that your team's falling apart after Christmas. Is it too many fucking turkey breasts or too many roast potatoes?
Lost the hunger.
Lost the hunger. Well, I don't know lost the hunger at Christmas dinner anyway. I'll tell you that. Big Morelos can battle for weight again. This is one thing I keep putting out. Right.
What was he like that Orange Draki, man?
Listen,
What the tango man, didn't he?
I says it to Fraser on that podcast I done as well. Still, Morelos is back overweight and it's fine. Oh, he'll lose weight during pre-season. He's a good player.
He's never near ready to play.
But again, Lee Griffiths came back overweight. He's terrible. He's unprofessional. What's this all about? We all know that, but why?
But there was a big story behind all that, wasn't there? So,
but why is it got to be Lee Griffiths get hammered? We all know about Lee Griffiths' backstory and his demons and everything else that goes with it. But take away that, he's come back on professional. Morelos can get back on professional, no fit, but it's all right. He'll get fit. And now he's saying
it doesn't suit the narrative, mate. It doesn't suit
now,
the agenda.
He's got to sign a new deal, supposedly, because I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants him. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know what goes behind the scenes at Rangers. I don't know what goes behind the money. I don't give a fuck anyway. But in terms of what you see, if a team wants Morelos, he'd have signed him when he done well in the season won the league. Nobody wanted the players. Nobody wanted them.
No, they never sold anybody. Get 3 or big kitters all went for big money.
And that's the thing. This year as well, it's what happens. The worst start to the season for 23 years. And we won the league. So how can people go and say Rangers are the favourites to win the league? Well, what if we have our best start to the season in 23 years? Fucking league's won in fucking October. Do you know that's what you're up against? And people.
If anybody's saying right now that the league's
listen, obviously the other side of the city, right? They're biased. Rangers are winning the league. We're biased, certainly the league. But I'm not just a Celtic fan. I'm a football fan, and I try and be balanced as I can. You look at the stats. You can't say Celtic have strengthened the Rangers, but Celtic have kept the players that won the league for them, and they're strengthening guys who are going to add better quality. They've signed.
Well, we're talking here. I need to try and get a light on in here, as if I'm fading away to the dark.
Fade into darkness.
As if I'm fading away here. If I start going back, you're going to see less of me.
But I do, there we
Hey!
go, man. But I do believe, mate, that we won the league. Top goal scorer, I'm going to say Jackie Marcus, just because I think if he's one touch goals, I think he'll get more goals than Kyogo just on the basis that Kyogo will be everywhere. And Jackie Marcus will kind of stick to the box. And the fact that the two of them will be interchanging, he'll get his fair share of games. I'm not really talking European one, I'm just talking domestically. I think Jackie Marcus will be top goal scorer. I think in terms of other teams in the league, I did say Hibs will finish third, but just the way they've been going now, I just can't see it. I hope Leeds gets it together, and obviously a big blow by McGiddy getting out injured, and that's what I want to talk about as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. I know, JP, I don't know if I've got an opinion on that as well, about a move for a player at Celtic to maybe help that. But in terms of, I think third, I know I said Hibs, but the way I look at it, it'd be very, very hard to beat Hearts to finish third with the best. I think Shankland as well, he'll score them goals. He'll get at least probably 12 goals from at least 15 goals for Hearts. So they've got Boyce there as well, Nielsen and that saying new deals the day, so they'll be full of confidence. Joe Savage, the director, I think he's a director of football, thinks they're going to do really well again. So for me, if Celtic win the league, I think we'll win a cup. Mostly in one tell, but I think we'll win a double again. I think doubles. For me, I'll say third place in the Champions League. I think we'll finish third. I don't know how many points we'll get. I don't care as long as we finish and don't get whipped. I think so. I think we'll win the league. We'll get a double. I think we'll finish third in the Champions League. We'll get through Europa League. And I think Hearts will finish third, JP. And obviously, I'll get your opinion on what about Mikey Johnson at the Hibs on one to cover Ian McGeady.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you said that, I've got a wee fly there to cover. Yeah.
That's obviously. I know Andrew's the community says it, but supposedly John Turf says that Celtic are open to a loan deal. That's a fact.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd need to say I feel sorry for Aidan, and obviously he's a former Celtic player, big Celtic fan. I feel sorry for him. I've heard it's about 3 months he's gone about again.
Metatarsal.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, it's a shame as well because he's just come up and he's just joined Hibs, and I mean, their competitive action started a couple of weeks ago, and let's face it, they've not really got after the best of starts now. It's been one comedy error after comedy error. Falkirk beat them. They get beat by Morton at Easter Road, and then we hear that after that they get kicked out of the cup because an admin error. That's amateurish, mate. Things like that shouldn't be happening at a club like Hibs. They're rematch to try and get close to Hearts, I would imagine. Never mind the league. I think they've got big rivals across the city, mate. And right now, in my opinion, in terms of squad, manager, structure, the lot, mate, they're light years ahead of them. I mean, Hearts are going to be in guaranteed European group stage football this season. Of what sort of state, whether that be the Europa League or the Europa Conference, it's still to be remained to be saw. But I would like, by the way, if they could manage to negotiate the player for the Europa League and get to Europa League groups, that would be amazing. Totally amazing.
For Scottish football.
For Scottish football, that would be an absolute amazing.
It would help with coefficient for us as well. And
absolutely.
For other years.
Absolutely. Because let's face it, I mean, your coefficient, especially at this time of the season, does take a bit of a battering, especially with the other clubs in the league try to qualify to get through different ties in Europe.
And just on that, by the way, Motherwell get beat 2-0.
Oh my goodness. That's a shambles.
That same out as well.
That's a shambles. That's 3-0 in aggregate. They've been beat with Sligo Rovers. Oh no. I don't know what to say. I know Motherwell they've got
the budget, it's half the budget, isn't it?
But even the budget, Ryan, the team at Motherwell, the raw team that Motherwell have got, mate, should be good enough to beat Sligo Rovers over 2 legs, mate. I'm not buying into that. A team like Motherwell shouldn't be getting beat with Sligo Rovers. And that's not being disrespectful to Sligo Rovers. Although we're led to believe now that there is quite a lot of talent over in Ireland. But still, you look at the 2 leagues.
I think it's the fact they're part-time as well, but isn't it? They're part-time
that as well. So, but when you look at Motherwell's pre-season, I don't know who's to blame for this, but I'm led to believe Motherwell only played 2 friendlies. and then right into these qualifiers. So who came up with that idea? I don't know. It's beyond me. I don't know what they've done in our pre-season. I don't keep a lot of tabs on them. But that overall result, Ryan, is shocking.
But again, that goes as well.
The fact that they've not even scored a goal.
See as well, in previous campaigns, we've been criticised for getting beat off teams you shouldn't get beat. But it just shows you, like, I'm not making an excuse for Motherwell, right? But it just shows you that the advantage of actually playing your season and being sharp. You might not be the best ability-wise, but see if you're fit and sharp, you can beat teams like Motherwell or Celtic or whatever. So
no,
I'm not making an excuse for Motherwell because listen, I
can't really talk for us either because we've let Scottish football down in the last few years as well. We've had a lot of poor results in Europe in the last couple of years. Personally, we shouldn't be getting beat with teams that we do get beat with. Like Copenhagen, in my opinion, man, shouldn't have been good enough to beat us.
Like Copenhagen, Midtjylland,
Maribor,
Malmo.
Who was the other team that beat us? Ferencvaros.
Cluj, I know.
Cluj. Who else?
Sion, teams like that, innit?
FC Sion, aye. Utrecht. These teams shouldn't be beating us, mate. And you could put all different scenarios and say, oh, but we're trying to rebuild there. So Lennon was trying to rebuild when we got hammered 4-0 with Utrecht. Braga. I think Braga told us, I know, didn't they? They beat us as well. So, like I says, and then you get into Europe and you get turned there with teams like Anderlecht at Parkhead. You beat 1-0 and a Brendan Rodgers side beat us after beating them 3-0 in their back garden. You then go through and you get a team like Zenit St. Petersburg and they put us out after beating them 1-0 at Parkhead. You get there and you play Doris de Vries and goals, and he's another one that just doesn't like to use his horns to save the ball, a bit like Vasilis Barkas. He's good with the ball at his feet, but he's absolutely hopeless as a shot stopping goalkeeping side of the game. But no, it's the Motherwell result, mate. That shouldn't be happening. That is poor. Like I say, I don't think there's an excuse out there that you can come back with. If that was a brand new team that had just been flung together, then no. But I seen the lineup earlier on before I saw any score, and the guys like Van Veen, he's just signed a new contract with him. I think the boy Tierney was playing. I think the new boys were playing, Blair Spittle and Paul McGinn, and so as I say, in my opinion, mate, that shouldn't be happening. Over 2 legs to concede 3 goals and not even have an answer is very, very poor against Sligo Rovers, who'll probably go through, get a team for one of the mud splasher leagues somewhere else and get rattled with about 6 goals. You can see it happening, mate. That's usually what happens.
What happened with Bodo Linfield beat them 1-0 and you pumped 8-0 yesterday? Yeah,
well, that's it. Well, there you go. You know what I mean? And Bodo are a decent side. I mean, they're well equipped. And what is that? Are they 2 games away now for the playoff? A game away for the playoff? Are they in the next round now that like the mob across the water drop into?
It must be Europa League, mate. It can't be
conference. No. It's the Bodo Linfield was the Champions League qualifier.
Was it? Right, okay, right.
Aye, no.
So they'll win the Rangers' one, I think now.
So that's the Rangers dropping, isn't it?
Aye.
So they're 2 games. So effectively, they're 2 games away for the Champions League group stages.
Aye.
So there's a distinctive possibility they could be there or not. And they had a couple of big scalps, including Celtic last season, right? They took 6 off Roma as well. So they are. You've seen how good they were when we played them. They were fit, they were sharp, they were athletic, they were dynamic. They opened us up at Parkhead a couple of times.
They had an actual identity of what they wanted to do.
Yes. But in terms of what we were talking about, our predictions wise, I think Celtic will win the league. I think Celtic will be better this season than what they were last. So that might be frightening for a lot of our listeners and fans. Because we thought we were good last season. I think Celtic will be kicked on this season. I think the quality will show in terms of the signings they've made. I think you'll see the signings they've made aren't anything less than what we already had in the team. They've, in my opinion, they have enhanced the team. No player has come in and went, well, he's just the same as him. He's just at the same level as him. They've brought in a standard, a player who's better than, I'll give you an example, Jens is probably going to turn out to be better than Welsh overall. Moy's probably going to be as decent as anything we've got, if no better. The goalkeeper, in my opinion, he's going to be better than Scott Bain, which means therefore he'll be challenging Joe Hart.
I think he's already, I think he's miles better than Scott Bain already.
Well, there you go. And
I think
the fact that he knows the league.
I think he's already in place to take a Hart if Hart goes next year. Do you know what? I've had my time. I maybe want to retire or go elsewhere. I think it's Joe Hart's jersey until he goes. I think.
Oh no, definitely.
Or unless he has a fucking 5 or 6 fucking barren spell when he needs a wee change up. But I agree with you, mate. I think Siegrist he's there to challenge Joe Hart and push Joe Hart. I
think it will be good games as well, Ryan. I do think Siegrist will come in and play games. I do think it'll maybe be a rotational thing with the cup, but he will come in and he will play. I think, and then you barring any injuries as well, obviously, then you would look at bringing him in as well, and you wouldn't have any qualms of doing it because you know he's a decent goalkeeper. But in terms of predictions, I think Kyogo will finish top scorer for us, Ryan. Not just going against you there. This is what I potentially think. I think if he stays fit, he'll score a lot of goals. I can see where you're coming from with Giakoumakis. Deep down, I don't care what one it is, as long as I think the two of them are going to score a lot of goals. You were right about maybe 18 goals each, 20 goals each. I think you're going to get that kind of return off the two of them. I think in terms of finishing third, I think you're going to see a shock now. I'm probably going to throw a spanner in the works here, but I think the United might finish third, mate. Hearts, time will tell, but do they have the squad now to be able to compete in Europe? And then play domestically, cup games. I'm not too sure if their squad depth yet is that size. Time will tell. If Hearts can avoid injury, they've got a good chance. But if they get 2, 3, 4, 5, you get big hitters, then the guys that are coming off the bench is good. I'm not so sure. They've lost Suter. I think they've lost their boy McAnuff as well. But they've brought in 6 players. So, and they've signed the big boy Nielsen for Dundee United as well. He's a cracker. Obviously, they brought Shankland in. I think they're the only 2 I know, to be honest. I'm not sure who else they've signed. As you said there as well, the management team have all signed new contracts, so they'll all be buzzing. But Dundee United have recruited really well enough. I think they've signed a big Australian goalkeeper. They signed an Australian left back today. Is it Berisic or Bersic or something his name is? Signed him today.
I've seen the goalie signing, but I've not seen.
They signed a left back today as well. They've obviously signed Stephen Fletcher. They signed the boy Levitt permanently as well. And I know that there's 1 or 2 others in the pipeline to come in, and obviously they've signed Jack Ross, he's a new manager. So I do think they could throw a spanner in the works because they've only really, well, they're in Europe as well, aren't they?
They can play, I think, whoever wins the night out at Alkmaar and somebody, I think they play them.
Is that who they've got in the next qualifying now?
Don't quote me on it. I just seen something online about it. But Alkmaar are 1-4 tonight.
And is that for the conference?
I must be, mate.
Okay. So they were in. So they finished above Motherwell, didn't they? So that's how they fell into that. Right. Okay. So that's how then. In terms of finishing third, I think you're looking at potentially Dundee United. I'm going to throw that out there and say Dundee United. I think they'll have a good season, especially with some of the recruitment they've done as well. I think the league itself this season, Ryan, coming is going to be a lot stronger. I think in terms of you're looking at a potential Aberdeen kicking on. You would probably say Hibs, but the way they've started doesn't look very good to me. You would look at you'd be asking questions a month ago now. Are they going to be up to it? Are they going to be ready? Because they've showed signs now that they're not ready if they've been beat with that result. I mean, I've not seen any of the two ties, but what I gathered for the first tie, they won me at it. I've not seen the night's game, but at 2-0, it doesn't. If you can't beat Sligo Rovers at Firth Park, mate, then you're really up against it, going to get out of the island and try to get a result. But not even score, Ryan, would really stick in my throat, mate. And then you could ask questions: is it going to put pressure on the manager? Is it going to? So, in my opinion, I think Motherwell need to seriously start thinking about things like that, because again, if they get off to a bad start, then they could find themselves wanting. So was it somebody says they only won twice since January?
Oh, I don't know the stats of them, mate. I don't know.
No, I don't know myself. I heard that, and then I don't know. I would like to confirm that, but they still made the top six. So was it quite a lot of draws, or was it?
Must have been. Well, I'm sure did they not have a good start this season, Motherwell?
I can't mind, Ryan.
Because
mate, I can't mind.
Because if they were drawing a lot of games, they must have had a good start to the season.
I know when he took care. I can't mind exactly when Alexander took care, but it was both in the league when he took care. I'm
sure when he came in, they did a very, very good start, did you know? I'm sure they played some good football and they were winning games.
They were both in the league, Ryan. You talking about it when he just took over?
When he took care, they started playing.
Aye, they did. But I think their openers against St Mirren. So to me, that's Andy's game, because I don't think any of the two clubs are up to much. I think
St Mirren will be a different animal this year with Robinson.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know how well they've recruited.
Last year was a bit up and down for him. I don't think he won a lot of games last year, but I think he's in a pre-season now. I think they'll be a bit more, I would say, settled. But I'm agreeing with you on United. I think they'll have a good season. I actually says that. I think it was Fraser put on his Twitter. Who these all think who's had the best window? Ash's obviously will be biased. I'm saying Celtic have added to the quality, and the quality will shine through. But I do believe outside of that, recruitment wise, just in terms of value and experience, I said United, the boy Levitt's a fantastic player. The same for United.
Brilliant player.
And Stephen Fletcher, no just for his goals. He might only score maybe 10 goals a season or 7 goals a season, whatever. But it's his full experience. I've been at the level he's played at.
It's not just that, Ryan. He'll probably enhance Watt as well.
Aye, that's what I mean. He'll help Watt. Now, see if you looked at, like he says, Watt and Fletcher as your front two. See maybe in a few years ago, you can maybe say that could have been the Scotland front two.
Aye, definitely.
Aye. I'm not saying Watt, but I'm just talking.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right. It's beyond me how you play guys like that numpty at Sheffield United, what's his name? McBurney. 20 million quid, mate.
Tony Watt can't get a call up.
And Tony Watt can't even get in a training camp to see how good he is, like as any. And it's beyond me, mate, because that boy has got all the talent under the sun.
And like you says, they're playing the boy. I don't know the boy, right? The guy, I don't know how good he is. The guy Brown for Hull. Is it Brown? Is that his name? What's the guy?
Aye.
Is it Brown? Is that his name, Brown?
Aye, that is his name, aye.
And you've got Tony Watt up
here. Stoke he was with, wasn't it?
Aye, Hull or Brownies. Well, Hull or Stokey's way, aye, one of the
man. Stoke, I think he's way.
Tony Watt for Motherwell was brilliant, and then he was very good for United. And like you say, all you can see guys a chance. These guys are working hard every week in Scotland.
Definitely.
Surely you've got to give him a sniff. It's the same as...
If Tony has a good season this season again, mate, surely to God Steve Clarke can't overlook it, because I think Tony Watt's a cracking player. I don't know if it's done United social media or their media need to ramp up to get my call up, because we done it with Ralston. How Ralston's only get a call up now is beyond... Nathan Patterson's for me is not going to get in for Everton now. No. All the Everton fans are saying, who do we sign this stud for? They're better bringing back Callum Patterson, mate, because Nathan Patterson's In my opinion, mate, I don't think Nathan Patterson's as good as what people are making.
I do believe the boys, see even through the Rangers youth system, right, you've obviously got talent, and for everyone to sign you, you've obviously got talent. But I think they've signed this boy, you know what? It could be a belter. We'll get him on potential. And potential doesn't mean you're going to be superb. I've always said, the way we used to work with Lennon, and even sometimes with Rodgers and other managers, you would sign guys on the potential value and the potential for the future, no on what I call project signings. Under Ange, he signed a badder who maybe I thought, is this guy going to come in and just play as another project? I say, fuck, boom, he's come in and played. That's the signings that we're trying to get, and that's the signings that we didn't get in the past. So, but for me,
I don't mean to be rotten, mate. You mentioned the Rangers youth there, and he says that when you came through, you must be half decent. Maurice Ross came through the Rangers youth, mate, and I thought he was absolute pony. I don't mean to. You're better with Jonathan Ross.
I'm probably talking more new. I think new you need to be upset.
Oh, new.
Oh no, new. I think new you need to be. That's who I'm saying. Like I didn't make a wee dig at the B team.
You compare Maurice Ross to like Aaron Hutton.
Aye. Listen, Aaron Hutton was good. There's no.
Oh, he was quality.
He was really quick as well. The wee thing about like, there's a few fans.
He started as a striker.
There's a few, obviously, I know a few years I've been crying out to give guys in the B team a chance, and then they go and get beat half by Rangers. That shows you the step up. It's a massive step up to come and play.
No, I know.
I mean, we're saying the boy Lowell looks decent, and then you seen him the other day, I think it was against Norwich or Blackburn, and he looked away with it last. But again, these guys take time to obviously come to the fore. But that's how I keep saying.
He looks very good on the ball, though, Ryan. He looks tidy on the ball.
That's how these guys need time, and I don't believe it. I do believe it. Obviously, the reserve leagues might be coming back next season.
The mere no in it.
I've not seen why. I don't know. I've not heard why. I've not heard.
Wasn't Aberdeen in it?
I've not read an article about why. No, but we've been trying to. We generally speak about. I think every podcast we talk.
Nearly
about
every podcast that's mentioned, aye.
Even John speaks about it, and the reserve league. For me,
John can't talk enough about it, to be honest. He believes in it full-heartedly.
Just need to watch open goal when you Samuel Ferry. People say, well, he'll say the guys he played with it was the best time in his life. Playing in that youth system, playing in the reserve league when you're not playing with the first team players. He used to watch Paul Lambert.
Well, that's the thing then, and what you go that was so competitive then because you had first teamers, they were coming back for injury, they were played in there. So you had guys like Paul Lambert playing beside you, giving you education.
It's like
so the young boys aren't getting that unless they come in.
It's like imagine Vata and Kenny playing with your system, but yet, listen, I know he's not playing the first team level, right? But Ayeti playing with him in the B team, they must fuck this guy's playing every week with the first team. He's played with Basel, he's played with Switzerland. I know people might go, oh, I'll be Ayeti, but he's played with Switzerland, he won the league with Celtic, he's played at the highest level, Champions League with, I think he played Basel. I don't quote me in the Champions League, but he's played at the highest level with Basel, he's played with Celtic, he's won the league with Celtic.
I'm looking at him at that Vienna Victoria game, mate.
I know. But
he wouldn't have scored in a shop in the red light this week, mate, I'm telling you.
But I know. But I wouldn't, mate, fucking
he must have knocked goal.
But I'm just for talking shit on that's the type of thing that could happen. Even let O'Reilly came back for injury. Do you know what? Right, go and play half now for the B team. Him walking in there, oh fuck, we've got him a day playing with. Oh, what an experience that will be. Just to see these guys play like.
Aye.
But I think the reserve leagues, and it's not just that, the reserve league used to be competitive. You used to win the league, not for it. It was a competitive reserve league.
I know.
I know the Lowland League's competitive and you can win the league and whatever. I don't
But if we won the league, see if we were your B team was to win the league, they're not allowed up, but yet the other teams are. So that I don't agree with. What's the incentive for that? It's
just game time in it and development. But would again, this is a question to you yourself, mate, and to the listeners that want to debate to themselves and their pals and stuff. That would do you think they develop better playing in the Lowland League against men and part-timers, or would you think they develop better playing against their own reserve league level, but playing with some first teams, maybe 2 or 3 first team players every week, and every team come back with injury or just getting game time? For me, if I was a player, I would take the reserve league. You might not get big crowds, but you're playing with experience and you're playing for an incentive to go to the first team. Is playing with the Lone League going to get you to the first team, or playing against first team players and reserve players a better chance of getting to reserve league? Or would you say that the Lone League's maybe a better chance of maybe not making it Celtic, but you're putting yourself in shot one day to go to maybe a League One team or a League Two team to play permanently?
I think personally the reserve leagues maybe the way forward. Because in the reserve league, surely there's got to be an incentive there to do it. See, when you see the teams down south, like if they playing in the Champions League, then your reserve team plays their reserve team.
Aye.
And so the match days, like just say it's you and PSG. So maybe at 5 o'clock that night it'll be Celtic's match, Celtic's reserves against PSG's reserves. Now it's all this development and this and that. I've done away with all that. So to bring it back and then to hear that we're not going to win it, I'm like, why no? And why is Aberdeen not going to? I just left that sort of hanging there. Like, that's what's happening. And I was kind of like, fucking hell, why are they coming in? But yet the rest of the teams are all coming in, but we're not. So it's a bit baffling, to be honest, mate. But 99% of me right away would choose a reserve league, because, like I say, coming back from injury first teamer you don't. That's saying I don't know. Is that going to be allowed now? Is that going to be part of it? It might not be, Ryan.
I've no read, dude. I'm just going on by what used to happen. I don't know the rules of what it would be, because I think it's only a brand new thing that's came back.
Because I was going to say, if that's not happening, then you're probably better off playing against men who are going to come fucking through you and teach you the game that way. I
would say if there's no first teamers allowed to play, and it is generally just a development team, then I would say that they'd be better just playing in the Lone League. Because
there's got to be an incentive, right? There's got to be an incentive, because right now our B team can't win that league. Or they can win the league, but they just don't got through the pyramid system, which I think is nonsense. The rest of the teams out with the Hearts B, Rangers and Celtic B can all win the league, and they're getting into like League Two, League One. They start working their way up. So I think that side of it is total nonsense. And as I say, it must be a bit degrading, not degrading, but downhearted for the boys, because just say they won the league. Yeah, we've won the league, but we're not fucking going anywhere. We need to stay here again if we're allowed back in. Because there you go, they had to have a meeting to see if we were allowed back into the league. We were in it last season, so why did you have to have a meeting to find out if we were allowed back in? But we've been allowed back in under the same set of shitty rules. If he's won the league, he's only gone anywhere. So where's the real incentive for that? Whereas if you have a reserve league, you could play against the reserves of the PSGs and the Real Madrids and Barcelonas, and you're playing against teams that will test you week in and week out.
Well, see, I don't know if that's the case.
I don't really think, but there you go. Was it Berwick Rangers?
Aye. Berwick Rangers beat them 1-0.
They beat them 2-1 the other night.
2-1. But I don't know. See if remember, I'm sure who was it? I spoke to Sam Wardle when he played with the development squad, the youth team. They done that next gen series when we played in Europe.
Aye.
How's that? Is that going to work again this year, or is it because they're in the B team that won't happen anymore?
No, they're not. It never worked last season for them, Ryan. So obviously we're in the Champions League. I don't think they play the next gen. I think they're just going to be B teams playing in the Lowland League, and that's it. I don't think that, because I've not heard anything.
I don't think the Europa League and Conference it happens. I'm sure it's only the Champions.
Does that next gen only happen if you're in the Champions League?
I think so, but I don't know if it still happens. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know if you still play. But
in my opinion, Ryan,
that'd be a better experience.
It would be a better experience, but is some of the boys ready for that, Ryan? I'm not sure.
Well, if I can't beat Berwick Rangers, I can't beat PSG.
I know, Ryan. I know. I get what you're saying, right? But some games, but let's face it, mate. Players up performances for different sets and different teams. So, see, I'm not being funny, mate. You're playing against Berwick Rangers. It must be down great. It must be a bit of down happening for the boys and all. And you're right.
That's an experience.
It's more of a fucking rot. And look, the first team's going and playing. They're opening their days Aberdeen, and then they're sitting waiting in a pot 4 draw for the Champions League. So they're going to be playing against 3 belters. Just say it's Man City or Liverpool. Or the B team must be going to fucking Cowden Beef going like that. They're all playing like Mo Salah and. But no, do you know what I mean? If that's not the case and the B team only getting to play in the next gen, they'll all be sitting there, all right, I'm just letting them train with the first team, but training with the first team and then getting games with the first team is 2 different things, right?
That's how I'm saying it.
Days,
that's how I'm saying
if the boys are sitting there in that lower league, mate, they're playing a Tuesday night and or a Wednesday night up against Spartans or up against, like, it must be really heart-wrenching for them to then go, let's just go with Celtic, the big team, or they're playing Paris Saint-Germain, or they're playing Real Madrid, or they're playing. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying. Aye,
it must be gut wrenching for them, and then to look at the standard. And I'm not saying it's not a great standard. I mean, I'm not playing at any standard, so apart from 5s, but the standard compares to the Celtic first team is just non-comparison, mate. If Celtic first team were to draw one of them in the cup, one of the teams for that league in the cup, it would be an absolute roasting. Regardless of whether it was at Parkhead, Broadwood, wherever they played, it wouldn't matter. It would be an absolute roasting. Because they play, let's face it, they players only up to the Celtic standard, mate. They're never near it. And if Celtic were to lose to any of their teams, it would be the biggest catastrophe and laughing stock probably in the team's history. It'd be worse than Inverness. And Super Kelly went ballistic.
I just think that she, like you're saying, obviously, about playing Europe, I think that the experience that we spoke to Sam, he said it was just amazing to go and do that. And he says, mate, no played every game or whatever, but you travel like a first team player, you get all the hotels at the first team. It shows you what it's an listen, this is what you can get when you make the first team. This is what you can get to. And I've always said people agree with me or people they argue with me, I don't know. But I just think there's still nowadays anyway, the gulf for the B team to get to the first team, I think you need to be really like fucking Kieran Tierney standards to really get a game. You've got to be exceptional.
But see, the thing is, right, there is going to be 1 or 2 eventually.
Oh, definitely. Listen,
like there's a boy in I don't know if you've noticed it, mate. There's a boy in making all the headlines, you know. And he's left fit and all. The boy's name's Anderson.
Development.
Is it Matthew Anderson?
That rings a bell.
Either Matt Anderson or Matthew, I can't remember, but he's supposed to be a fucking belter, by the way. And I mean, I'm talking about, like, you could bring him on as a sub at Celtic Park, similar to Ben Dokes, and he probably wouldn't like you, didn't, mate? Do you know what I mean?
Shows on my phone, yeah, I just googled it. It's Matthew Anderson, that's right.
Matthew Anderson, right. And he's supposed to have some left peg on him. Apparently, he scored 2 belters for them at the weekend. They beat Cowden Beef. So, and he scored I think he scored 2 of the goals. Was it 3-1 they beat Cowden Beef or 2-1?
It was Aberdeen's done, wasn't it? That's where they play,
was it? There you go. Well, seemingly he scored 2 crackers for what I heard. And I'm pretty sure he came on as a sub against that Werner Victoria away from home the first game of our pre-season there. In Austria, I'm pretty sure he was one of the boys.
Him, Vata and Moffat, wasn't it? Is that right?
Vata looks like a good unit, alright.
See, I can't.
He took his 50. I know we weren't playing him, but again, he's probably playing a team who's at the same level as what he's playing against the B team. But he took that goal lovely. Aye, the way he's running onto that, I know he's running with the ball at pace, and then his finish was superb. He looks a good one, Ryan. He does look a good one. So does the big boy Lowell. I think there'll be a wee bit of development with him still in terms of the physical side and just 1 or 2 tweaks, mate, and that big boy could look good. In terms of his pace, I don't think he's the fastest of players, Ryan, in terms of acceleration, but you don't need to be fast, Ryan, if you've got scruples, mate, and you know how to position yourself properly. Because Even Paolo Maldini at the tail end of his career wasn't fast, but he was known for.
I still had it in there.
He was known how to read the fucking game and how to play, and he used to teach. I noticed that about Big Lovell. I know he's quite vocal. He talks and like he was shouting out to the fullback and he was wanting the ball for the goalie. I'll give him that. He made a bit of mistakes, but he was wanting to play. And you need to have that courage, Ryan. You need to, and that's what Ange is going to install in them all, Ryan. It's not just one or two.
I do think they'll get.
Sorry for boring you, mate.
No, it's just me. Yeah, I was doing training today in Workman, so I'm knackered.
Right.
I do believe that these guys will get a chance. I think under Celtic with Ange there's a pathway in some capacity. Well, no, they're good enough to get the pathway. That's up to them to obviously build towards getting there. But overall, mate, as I say, we're looking forward to the game on Sunday. It's no Saturday. We keep saying Saturday because it should be a Saturday. Like I say, we should be the champions. However, no, one of the first games to open the season with the curtain raiser with the flag. I don't know if it's today with Sky or is it the try to get 3 points and tap us already? Because let's be fair, me, Davy Martindale, we Hasbellers came out and saying that they're looking at a different animal and all that. And how do you know? You've not watched them all season.
He was at Ibrox on Tuesday night last week, the West Ham game, he says, wasn't it?
Look lovely. No, when have you ever seen...
He was there with his Rangers beanie hat on and his wee scarf and his pie and his bovril.
When have you ever seen a manager saying, oh, by the way, here, they look a different animal, man? You don't talk about your opposition like that. All you need to say is, they've strengthened, they're looking good, it'll be a tough game. A different animal. Listen, we all know it's 4-0 on fucking Saturday already, don't we? I hope no. Listen, I have a bit of banter. I hope, listen, we all know Livingston's a tough place to go to. They've done okay recruitment-wise as well. The big boy...
They signed that big lad, Calves. The big boy used to play for Hearts and St Mirren.
Him and the other guy they've got a decent... He done well for a bro from on loan. Is it Joe Doomby or Doomby? I think he go up front.
Doomby,
that's it. I think it's him.
I think he's about 6'20", isn't he?
He's a big player as well from him. I think he does well holding the block from him. So
he is a big player, right enough. He's massive.
But they'll do well, I think. Again this year, I think Martindale, he might not be your Brendan Rodgers or your Rans, Postacoglu's, but he's obviously doing well at that level for Livingston. They've obviously got a good team spirit. Again, the budget isn't
I thought they were really unlucky not to finish the top six, right?
I think that was actually Motherwell beat them to it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's that wee vital mistake that they lost to go. They ended up losing that game.
I do believe, I think Rangers will beat Livingston. I don't think Rangers will slip up, but I think for us on Sunday, like I say, overall, looking forward to getting back to business, back to defending the title once again. Hopefully making it 11 out of 12 at the end of the season. That's what I think anyway. I don't think we'll lose the league again. We can all have egg in our face. We all have stupid opinions and predictions, but I just think this is just as I say, I like to comment on the new. I try and not talk about the past as much as I can on performances and results and facts. And for what I go on for my team, the new, I believe we've got the best squad in Scotland. We've got an elite manager. We've got some very, very good players who will go further than us. And I know that's hard to say, but they will. They've strengthened. A lot of other teams have strengthened. Aberdeen, Hibs have strengthened, Hearts. But I do believe we've got the best squad in Scotland, best manager. And I think we'll win the league, and I think we'll win on Sunday as well.
I totally agree with you, mate. I think we're looking good. I think I've said it already. I think we're going to be better than what we were last season in terms of the demands now. All the players know the demands, so they know what's. And I think they're more accustomed to it now, that they'll be ready when the time comes when the speed of games start happening. I don't think you'll see the team dropping off the way you did last season when people say, oh, they're only good for an hour, they're only good for... No, I think you'll see, especially with the 5 subs, I think you'll see the tempo continue, and that'll just kill teams, Ryan. The tempo we play at, Ryan, there's nobody in Scotland that loves us. Nobody. Because teams can maybe match up for so long, eventually Celtic will cut you open. They've got too much quality now from mid to front, Ryan. Their defence will take care of itself, because they'll shape up the way they shape up all the time. But in terms of after the ball, the way we work, the way we hunt, the way we play, the tempo we play at is far superior to anything in this country. And when you've got managers like Dean Smith who've been Premier League man.
I think we're going to say this cunt.
No. I'll leave that one for later.
Aye. Leave
But
that for
when you
League
get
games.
managers who were
Leave that for League
managing the
games,
Premier
get
League not
big.
long ago, mate, talking about how good we really are, saying it for a good side, saying it, you need to shut up and take notice. Because they're not just saying that just for, oh, we're up here for a friendly, we'll just bum him up. He didn't have to say what he said, mate, but he really gave us a big compliment after we took his team to task and we beat them 2-0 very comfortably. And it was 2-0 potentially going on 4 or 5, let's face it. If it wasn't for Angus Gunn making a few saves in the second half. But no, I agree with you, mate. I think we'll win the league. I think we've definitely got the best squad here. We've got the best crop of players. Probably the best camaraderie as well in terms of the way they are together. And I think past COVID and all that now, I think that's vitally important because we're seeing photos of them all socialising together and out doing events, eating dinners. You might think that's just a bit of naught, but see teams that spend time together, mate, they tend to do well together because then you start learning about one another. You've got players from various different countries, mate. Try to learn about new cultures and this and that and players' likes and this and that, and then you see the photos of Jota, Starfelt, Carter Vickers are all away on holiday together, and when you've got things like that happening, it's not surprising Carter Vickers and Starfelt built up the relationship they did last season in terms of being solid. But no, I think we'll kick on, Ryan. I think I'm looking forward to the curtain raiser, as I say, on Sunday. I don't think Aberdeen, regardless of the 40 signings that they have made, I don't think they're going to matches on Sunday. I think they might bin for a shock, actually, at the speed that I think we'll come out the traps on Sunday night. And I think before you know it, we'll be a goal or two up. And Aberdeen will go, oh, here we go. But that's what happens, Ryan, when you look across the tunnel and you see guys like Jota, Kyogo and that, the old farter starts going, and before you know it, it's you've lost the game in the tunnel. But no, just to get things wrapped up, mate, so I know you're tired of that. No,
I'm all right, I'm just getting late, mate, that's all.
Aye, that's how I says, we'll get it wrapped up.
To talk all day about Celtic, couldn't we?
Oh, we could, mate. Aye. Unfortunately, there's not enough fools in the day.
No, but I'm the same as you, mate. Everything you've said, I agree with. To fair, I think everything we speak about, most things we agree with. The odd time you might say I or no, but I do believe that going forward, I'm really positive about the club, especially the league-wise as well. And again, anybody who's listening to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, please. Yep. Anybody who hasn't, please subscribe to the podcast. It only helps the channel. It's all free for the fans. We're just fans, basically putting stuff out there for the fans. And we're on Twitter as well. Just type in the podcast name on Twitter, it will come up, and YouTube as well. And we're on TikTok, ADB snazzy videos now and again. There might be a lot of shite, but I find them quite funny. So,
we get one of you dancing, mate. I think that'll up the views, man. We'll get one of me and you dancing at Christmas. We'll get my big hands jumpers on, and we'll.
I'll have at least 10 beers for a daddy dance.
Shaking Stevens, snow is falling all around us.
Yeah, I don't dance. I just daddy dance, mate. I'm a two-step type of guy, man.
That's right. Listen, square blokes for me. That's fine. That'll be 10 Stellas later, no doubt. Know what I mean? But 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I'm good at the old line dancing, summer.
As I say, if you like the content, please subscribe to YouTube. As I said, we're on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And follow me and JP on Twitter as well for any updates about the podcast and anything Celtic related. We'll have a bit of banter, a bit of jokes about another side to the city as well. So if you like that as well, fire away. But again, JP, good to speak to you again, mate, and see the game Sunday.
Been a pleasure as always, mate. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail, mate.
Take care, mate.